Fire signs, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. This is your reading for February 2026. There are timestamps below, so you can skip ahead to your zodiac sign. You don't have to watch the whole reading if you don't want to. If you're not a fire sign, I will be doing air, water, and earth signs as well. You can skip ahead to my bio if you like and find those videos there. So I'm going to start with Aries. I'm going to do a 9-card spread, 3 cards for your recent past, 3 cards for your current energies, and 3 cards for the energies, incoming energies for you, Aries, for February 2026. I'll also pull 1 card for your conscious energies, the things that you are aware of, and the card from the underside of the deck for your unconscious energies, the energies on the table that are operative in you, but they're subconscious, so you may or may not be aware of them. All right, so Aries, let's go. Ooh. Okay, conscious energies, we have the 5 of Swords. Unconscious energy, we have from the bottom of the deck, the Emperor in reverse. That is Aries, Aries energy, but it is not fully functioning. Okay, we'll get back to that. That looks like a headache. We're starting off with a headache, Aries. I'm sorry. 3 cards from your recent past. We have the Knight of Wands in the upright, flanked by the flanked by the World in reverse, and the 3 of Cups reversed. In the middle of the deck, the heart of the deck, we have the Fool. That's good. Flanked by the 4 of Swords in the reverse and the 3 of Pentacles in the upright. And your incoming energies, Aries, we have the Hermit, flanked by Temperance, and the 7 of Swords in the reverse. Okay, so we're opening with a headache. I love this deck. It actually literally shows this poor fellow here getting some information whispered into his ears, and possibly losing a friend over a conversation or a conflict of some sort. This is the classic card of pick your battles. And you got to be careful, because if you win a battle but you lose the war, it is of not a huge amount of value to you at the end of the day. And then you've got the Emperor reversed. The Emperor is again an Aries card. That's Aries energy that is not fully functioning, which makes for a very unhappy Aries. If there's any card or any zodiac sign that wants to initiate something and get moving, it's Aries. And it looks like you're stuck, and it looks like a sticking point is particularly hard. It's the beginning of the new year, and February being the beginning of the Chinese New Year, which 2026 is the year of the fire horse. Definitely wants to get going. That's a lot of movement energy. And in the very heart of your deck, of your spread, pardon me, we have the Fool. Lots and lots of energy here, wanting to get moving, but blocked. Okay, so recent past, we have the Knight of Wands in the upright, flanked by the World and the 3 of Cups. Again, you're telling me you want to get moving. There's a new project underway, a new impulse, and I get the feeling it's not brand spanking new. It's something that you've wanted to do for a while. Being flanked by the World in reverse and the 3 of Cups in reverse. This is a new perspective that's been trying to come in, and meaning that there's an old perspective that's trying to close out. And the 3 of Cups in reverse, there's a lack of support. Okay, so that actually lines up. I think we've just found why this guy has a headache. You may have had a pivot of some sort, an intellectual pivot of some sort that isn't going down well with your social circle. So you may be getting some pushback. In fact, I'm pretty sure you're getting some pushback, or at least have in the recent past, and that's weighing on you. Okay, in the current energies, the Fool hasn't deterred you. It's weighing on you, but it has not deterred you. It slowed you down, but not by much. We have this flanked by the 4 of Swords in the reverse. So you've rested on it. You took the advice of the people trying to slow you down. You listened and you thought about it and you said, thank you very much for your advice. I'm going to go do what I want to do anyway. And good news is that Fool is also flanked by the Three of Pentacles here. So the cooperation and support that you weren't getting, at least emotionally, in your social circle in the recent past about this new project is coming back around. And even though they might have not been there for you in the feels in the recent past when you started this, practically speaking, it looks like they are pitching in. So you are finally getting some practical support, which is arguably just as important as the emotional support. Super. That's awesome. Okay, so incoming energies for February 2026 for our Aries, we have the Hermit, flanked by Temperance and the Seven of Swords in reverse. If you hear that in the background, that's one of my cats has got the zoomies. So there's not much I can do about that. Apologies. Anyway, so incoming energies, the Hermit's flanked by Temperance and the Seven of Swords. Okay, that's turning inward. So project looks like it's off the ground, practically speaking, in the beginning stages. But I'm gonna be I'm getting pulled back to this Emperor in the reverse here. That's you, and that might be you having a little pause strategy wise, a rethink. I think you've got your team on board now, and that might actually have surprised you. Like, oh, I didn't think they were going to go for it, but turns out they are. Might have been them that pivoted more than you. And now you're taking a moment to pull back, look inside, because there's a blending, right? You're building a team here. So this is probably work. It could be family oriented for sure, but I think it's probably work. But it's the strategic side. It's the work you do to set up the work you're going to do. Like if you think of it as a construction job, this is the logistics. How much tile am I going to need? How much lumber am I going to need? What kind of man hours are going to go into this? So this is project logistics. You're taking a moment, looking at your team, figuring out how to best alchemize everybody, make the best use of everybody. You're ending on the Seven of Swords. So I think, and that's in reverse. So I think you are, again, taking another look back at how best to do this, because there has been a pivot of some sort and you're keeping it to yourself, would be my best guess on this. Yeah, you're internally processing. You end the month without any actual activity. So again, going back to that metaphor analogy of a construction, a physical construction site, you're not, by the end of the month, I don't see you breaking ground yet. You're putting all the pieces together, assembling your team, and keeping it to yourself for the time being, which makes sense. Anything else here? Let's get some advice. 3 cards for advice. Ooh, the Lovers in the upright, the King of Cups. Okay, that's doubling down on emotional maturity there. And the Page of Pentacles in reverse, again doubling down on that theme of taking your time, taking a second look, and making sure that uh, the your goal and the reasonable output of all of these efforts match, right? Because if you don't want to end up doing a whole lot of busy work or setting your team to task and look back on it and go, we really had no hope of winning this adventure. So I think, yeah, the advice here is remember that you're working with other people. It's not just you. You are teamed up with people, and they are as invested in this project as you are. Maybe not at the moment, but they will be. And I think you have at least one very loyal person on your team. So you're gonna need to use your emotional maturity to hold back for a second. because you still have some more thinking to do. And the thinking is logistic, but it's also very, very goal and oriented. So I'd say the advice here is to refine your goals. You got a good team in place. Don't get them all riled up until you're ready to set them out. But I think by the end of the month, you're gonna be well on your way to figuring it out. So good for you, Aries. Exciting month for you. All right. Next we have Leo. Leo, let's see. 3 cards for your recent past. We have the 7 of Wands in the upright, flanked by the moon. Well, that makes sense. Oh, and the 8 of Cups in reverse. So 7 of Wands is this fellow here saying no. That's a defensive posture, and being given that he's flanked by the moon and the 8 of Cups in reverse, that makes sense. It looks like an ordeal of some sort. Current energies, and in the middle of the deck we have the Lovers, flanked by the Knight of Swords in the reverse, pardon me, and the Ace of Pentacles in the reverse. Ooh, Leo. Still crunchy. Okay. Incoming energies for the month of February 2026. We have the Magician in the upright. So we're getting somewhere there. That Chariot in reverse. Ooh, and Justice in reverse. Okay. Conscious energies that you're aware of. 3 of Pentacles. Cooperation. Subconscious energies on the table. Ooh, the 10 of Wands in the reverse. Not sure, but I feel like the 10 of Wands in the reverse was in your January reading. Or maybe it was a 10 of Wands upright. I'll have to go back and take a look. But yeah, this is a heavy reading. And I think your January one was too. It looks like there is some movement. Again, in the light, your conscious energy that you're bringing is cooperation. So you are open to working with others to move forward. But your subconscious energy, as that 10 of Wands reversed, indicates strongly that your focus, your attention has been too heavy, overburdened, and you are putting it down. So that's good. There's a pivot of your focus. And usually that precedes your actual real world pivot. But it looks like you're at least open to it. Okay, recent past. Let's get back to our 7 of Wands in the upright. This fellow is defending his single ace, his new idea, against these 6. If you remember, or if you're familiar with tarot, the card before it is victory, where the same fellow is riding through a triumph, a Roman triumph. So the 6 wands, the 6 of Wands, the previous card, he's won those 6 wands, and now they're turned on him. Okay, because although he'd won, as we know, what goes up must come down. So this is where he's trying to hold his ground, literally hold his ground, and that's flanked by the moon and that 8 of Cups in reverse, which speaks of a reconnection. But it's really obscured. There's a lot of subconscious energy attached to this, and a lot of, I think you're afraid of acting on impulse. There's some emotions in it. You're trying to keep them under control, but your subconscious has been really wanting to put down this heavy load for quite a while. Even though consciously you're still showing up and saying, yep, I'm part of this team. You're hanging on, trying to hold your position, but it's hard, because I really think there's some shadow work here that your subconscious, this little crawfish here, is coming up. And as a result of that, there's something emotionally that you're trying to drop, that you're trying to let go emotionally in the past. and it keeps dragging you back in. I'm going to get a clarifier on that. Why? Why? What is this thing that keeps dragging you back in? The middle of the deck is the Lovers. And then that streams right down into the Magician. There may be a union of some sort. A contract, could be personal, could be romantic, could be your family, that you're trying to maintain. Maybe instead of that makes sense. And again, we go back to this cooperation. It may be there's more than one energy on this table. Yeah. There's a partnership of some sort that is testing your limits, and you are doing your best to have it evolve rather than break. Absolutely. Okay. That Lover's card in your current energies. So it's still, the contract still exists, it's still functioning. But attached to it is the Knight of Swords in reverse. Is at the very least intellectual chaos. It's usually hard conversations that don't actually resolve much. And also it's also flanked by the Ace of Pentacles in reverse. So yeah, I think there's been some hard conversations, some maybe even heated conversations with a partnership of some sort that you're not getting anywhere. A whole lot of talking, arguing, being defensive on your side or theirs is producing negligible or even negative results. Aw. I'm sorry, Leo. It looks like you're trying. Your heart's in the right place, but you ain't getting anywhere. Okay, incoming energy. Let's see, February 2026. If our lions can get themselves out of this pickle, we have the Magician. So that's at least the operator is picking up the phone. Okay, so that's at least there's conversation going on, there's some back and forth, there's some movement. You may not see it yet. In fact, I don't think you see it yet, but it's just stating. This is flanked by the Chariot in the reverse, so that gives us some information as to why your line is open to move this situation forward. You're, in practical terms, very practical 3D terms, doing your best to cooperate without losing too much ground. So there might be a compromise of some sort, likely a compromise of some sort. But there's so where do I want to look here? The project itself. See, the Chariot is a card of movement. Reversed, it's stuck. And the reason that I think it's stuck is because, how do I put it? The charioteer, pardon me, the dude, the dude in charge of these two sphinxes here is having trouble balancing the tension between two opposing paradigms, two opposing worldviews, two opposing something. So one of the people in this partnership has big ideas in one direction, and the other person, you, let's say, has big ideas in another direction. And the partnership itself, as the vessel, can't hold that competing tension. So it's gonna have, so the advice here is super clear. It's gonna have to change. Your subconscious is already in the process of putting it down. Your conscious self is still attached to it and trying to cooperate without losing anything. But the tension between the two partners is emotional and foundational. It's not just an everyday kind of, well, I think this, you think that. I think it's quite large. You end the spread with Justice in reverse. And again, that goes back speaking to contracts. This is probably, for a lot of you, this is going to be business. Yeah, so you end I'm sorry, it's not concluded. I really wish it was because this looks like quite an ordeal. It's hitting you in the feels, it's hitting you in the head, it's hitting you in your gumption, it's taking the steam out of you, and it's producing 0 pentacles at this time. Let's see. I got to get some. Let's look one card further because all I see is it's stalled right here until you get this. It looks like a contract negotiation that's super crunchy. Page of Pentacles in the upright to clarify justice there. Oh, what just popped into my head, and I hate it. I don't even want to say it, but is to I would never advise anyone to not, stand up for what's important to you. Absolutely. But pick your battles. Make sure you get the big things that you want because you may not get the little things that you want. You may have to throw the other party a bone to get this moving because I think they're just as stubborn as you are. It's two lions going at it. So that's what I got for you. I hope this helped, and put it in the comments. I'd love to see how this works out. And moving on, we're going to move on to our Sagittarius. Hopefully things for Saggy are a little bit less crunchy than our poor Leos. All right. Sagittarius card for your consciousness. We have the Knight of Cups in reverse. A little energetic pullback, it's a little emotional pullback, I guess. From the bottom of the deck, we have your subconscious energy. Ooh, death in reverse. All right, something's trying to close out, and you're working on it. Your heart space is pulling back because something's trying to close. All right, what's trying to close? Recent past. Oh, the Lovers in reverse. This is so weird. This is so weird. It's so strange how like the fire signs will often have the same sorts of problems, and the air signs will often have the same sorts of problems. I guess that's what you'd expect with the zodiac. But when I find it in the cards, because I use different decks, right? Before I start, these decks are all shuffled 8 times at least. Actually, they're shuffled 8 times before I put them away, 8 times again when I open them. So 16 shuffles and 3 different decks, one for each sign. And I just pulled, if you watch the last sign, if you watch Leo's Sagittarius, I just pulled the same card. So I've got the Lovers in reverse on from a different deck, and the 7 of Wands in reverse. Ooh, King of Wands in the upright. Finally, yay! Something confident with vision and direction. In the middle of the spread, we've got the Moon reversed, the Hermit in the upright, and the Queen of Swords reversed. Okay, and closing out the month, we have Strength reversed, the Queen of Wands reversed, and the Hierophant in the upright. Okay, Sagittarius. So again, we'll start with the overall energy. That King of Cups is pulling back from something, an emotional pullback. The King of Cups, when he's in the upright, is sweet. Often it's a proposal of some sort. It isn't fast moving, as you can see, but it is a very sweet energy. In the reverse, it's more cautious. This is in your conscious awareness, so you know why you're doing it, but you are pulling back from a commitment, from a union of some sort. Let's see, are we an emotional? There's a lot of wands here, so it's something. I don't see a lot of cups other than that Knight of Cups, which is your emotional pullback. So could be a relationship for someone, but whatever it is, I think it was or is quite passionate. But there's an emotional withdrawal from our Lovers upright, which is a contract of some sort. And it can be for some people internal, and for some of you it will be. There's quite a few reverse cards. So it can be an emotional withdrawal from, like a pause, just from looking inward. You might have been doing a lot of shadow work and decided, okay, I'm gonna, that's enough of that. I need to rejoin the world. But for others of you, it will be a relationship of some sort that you're in, that you are dialing back your heart space investment. And it looks like um, that that pullback may be because of a past, I want to say, boundary issue, or you might be being more cautious. These two cards together, this guy is holding his boundaries. This guy is no longer holding his boundaries. But as a result of that, the relationship has experienced a rupture of some sort. And you finish off your past energies with the King of Wands in the upright. So it looks like you have, I don't actually think you've processed it, but I do think you pivoted and decided, okay, that's what that is. I've decided that this still has my attention, but only as much as it needs. It doesn't have my whole heart because I got other things to do. And so there might be a new vision, a new direction for you. In fact, I think at least your past energies, that that you've taken the lead, at least for your own sense of well-being. And we'll see, that may carry over into the relationship and actually taking the lead in the whole relationship, but we'll see. Your subconscious energy, death in the reverse, shows clearly that this relationship that you're pulling back from, there's still reasons for you to resist letting it go. Okay, middle of the spread, we have the moon in reverse. That's clarity coming, but there's easier ways to receive clarity. The energy of the moon reversed is clarity that comes from your subconscious, so it may not make any sense. This is flanked by the Hermit in the upright and also the Queen of Swords in the reverse. So yeah, you're trying to make sense of what happened. You're pulled back within, trying to figure out, trying to process and figure out exactly what's happened. Where am I now? The clarity is coming, but it's not coming in a linear way. It's not coming in a way that where you can go, okay, this leads to this, leads to this. You might just get a sudden insight, could be coming from dreams. I would pay attention to your dreams, or any intuition or instincts. Actually, even more than intuition, your instincts. Pay attention to your instincts here, because that Queen of Swords is reversed. And that tells me when she's in the upright, this is the woman you go to when you need to think things through, very discerning. The Queen of Swords asks, is this true? In the reverse, she's muddled. She can't do her job. But I think here it's actually telling you that the resolution, the peace that you're looking for after this rupture and this emotional pullback, the peace that you're looking for that's going to finally enable you to let this go, isn't going to come from your train of thought. You're not going to figure it out from a book. You're not going to figure it out from chatting with a professional, even, or a good friend. For some of you, it's going to come to you out of the blue, and it's going to be an instinct on how to move forward. Okay, so closing out the month, Saggies, we have the Strength card in the reverse. Again, that speaks to you getting aligned internally. And it speaks directly to mastering your instinct. Here, you can see the higher self has control of your instinct self. And here it's in reverse. So I'm going to go back. This is doubling down on please, if your instinct tells you something, please go with it. Attached to that is the Queen of Wands in reverse. That's a feeling of not quite having, not being confident. The confidence is there. In the past, you made this move. I'm confident that I'm going to pivot and move in this direction. But coming in the future, there's a little bit of doubt. Okay. The king says, I'm going to go do this. The queen asks, can I do this? And she's not quite sure. So there's a little bit of fear cropping in there. And my best guess on this would be because the direction the king wants to take you is counterintuitive to your instincts. Your instincts, something's popping up to say, whoa, hang on, maybe we shouldn't do this. Good news is you're closing off the month with the Hierophant. The Hierophant is anybody, any authority figure, church, state, teams, coaches, whatever it is in your life. This is the guy who says these are the rules of the game. He's in the upright. So by the end of the month, you are at least going to figure out what you're doing. This King of Wands is gonna get back on track and be empowered, because the rules of the game that changed back here when your boundaries were not respected and you had this rupture with this person or situation, at least you're going to be able to figure out, okay, this is the new game and these are the new rules. You can see the Pope here is letting these two guys know what they're supposed to do and how they're supposed to do it. So you're going to get some clarity. And once that comes in, you're going to be able to decide whether or not you want to let this go, which it looks here like you most likely are. Let's just take clarifier. Yeah, two of wands in the reverse. Actually, it's sort of out of your hands whether or not you're going to let this go. It's there's external factors, external pressures on this. That being said, this card is actually called the Make-A-Wish card, because although your plans existed and you were looking forward to them, you'd worked hard on them, they didn't work out. However, this card is usually followed by something working out even better than expected. So I'm going to end that right there, because that's a very positive note. And that's what I got for you, Saji. I hope this helped. Put it in the comments, like, share, subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Cheers.